All right, so we figured we would give you guys kind of a list on what you would look for and what kind of a basic plan would be for somebody that is building out one of these GMT800s with a budget. And the first video, we're going to be doing $1,000 budget. So if you got $1,000 laying around and you want to kind of beef up your rig a little bit, then this is how we would do it if we were you.
Yeah, it's probably like kind of the most efficient, best bang for your buck if you're going to do kind of like a beater setup. So this $1,000 doesn't include the price of the truck. The rig we would recommend starting with, because you're probably going to get the best bang for your buck there, figuring out, because we started with Denali's, which were 6 liters, but all-wheel drive transfer cases, and we kind of figured out that if you're focusing more on kind of an off-road build, you're better off getting like a base model Tahoe or Suburban with a 5.3 and a selectable transfer case.
Yeah, that's going to improve your miles per gallon on top of having that 4-wheel drive, which is sweet.
Yeah, once you're in the low range, really the 5.3 seems like it's like we're never, with the 6.0, it's never like, wow, I'm glad I had that much power. It's more along the lines of like, oh, we were missing out on all this gearing and now we can kind of do what we want now that we've switched them to selectable transfer cases. So, Tahoe, Yukon, Suburban, something with a 5.3, selectable transfer case, and then a G80 in the back, because that is a limited slip, and you're gonna want a limited slip because that's gonna save you a ton of money. It's not as good as like a True Track or a selectable locker, but it is some sort of kind of posi equivalent. They do have a tendency to grenade apparently, but ours have been running with 33s and 35s for a while and doing okay with like 200,000 miles on them. So
yeah, so with this $1,000 budget build, the first thing that we would go with would be the 1-inch spacers on the springs on the back, which you can grab those for like $40 on. And then we've got PPE. Or actually, you don't have to go with PPE, but
yeah, those are a little more expensive. I think Rough Country has tie rod sleeves for like $40.
Yeah, so tie rod sleeves are just going to help kind of beef up your steering and have you not bend a tie rod out there. On top of that, we would go with Bilstein 5100s, which obviously aren't the best ever, but they're going to do a lot better than your air ride suspension that comes in on those trucks.
Or even if you're getting like a base model Tahoe that doesn't have the air ride, most likely the shocks are completely blown out anyway, because if you're getting it at a budget, it's probably got a ton of miles on it.
It's very true. And then on top of that, what else were we thinking?
Skid plates. Definitely get some skid plates. I don't know if any of the Tahoes actually came with skid plates from the factory, but generally if you've got a like a pick and pull or some kind of junkyard near where you live, you'll probably be able to find on a Silverado in the junkyard, you can find a transfer case skid plate and a front diff skid plate. And I think at our pick and pull, both of those are priced at like $25 each. So for $50, you have something better, especially for the front diff. The front differential hangs down pretty low. I've actually hit mine on some stuff before I had the skid plate. So picking one of those up in a junkyard's a good call.
And then procedure-wise, we would definitely crank your keys.
Yep.
That way you've got just a little bit more lift than you would have having them kind of relaxed, and it's going to give you a little bit more travel as well. And cranking your keys, you're just going to need a ratchet, and yeah, that's it.
And while you're under there removing the front sway bar, it's going to make it handle not as great on road, but like off road, it just soaks up all the bumps and stuff way better. And keeping the rear sway bar and removing the front sway bar will allow the IFS to articulate a little bit better when you are in kind of slow speed, rocky stuff.
Other than that, that's going to leave you a chunk of change for your tires, which we would advise you go on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or anything like that to try to find some used all-terrain tires, which, I mean, he's found some pretty good deals on 33s and 35-inch all-terrain tires on Facebook. So
Yeah, so dollar per performance, tires is going to be what you should prioritize over anything. So the more you can save on all the other components and the more you can put into tires, the better. Try to find, if you find a rig that has 17-inch tires on its stock, that's going to open up your options for aftermarket tires, because a lot of off-road tires are on a 17-inch rim. And then you can just really find spacers, like I'm running 2-inch spacers on my rig, on the stock 17-inch Denali rims, and I can fit a 35 in there. That is with a lift key in the front, which we'll talk about in a more expensive video. But with the keys cranked, you'll most likely be able to clear a 33 as long as you have a good amount of negative offset in your rim, which you can add with a spacer instead of having to buy new rims. You'll pay for the cost of what one rim would be. You can pay for a set of 4 spacers from, I think I got mine from Titan Auto maybe, but those are options.
yeah, but $1,000, that's kind of our go-to easy way to kind of get something going and be able to get out there a little bit. We will put links for all these parts in the description. And yeah, pretty easy build. It's not hard. All of the work that's included on it is not super terrible.
Yeah.
It's relatively
this is all under the assumption
self-explanatory.
that you're going to bolt all these things on yourself. And this is just a bolt-on list. We'll do a $3,000 bolt-on list as well, and then later down the road we'll give you guys, like, if you have some fabrication tools, which if you're going to be trying to make these rigs viable as far as like being somewhat capable off-road, I would spend more money on fabricating tools and making stuff, because there's just not that much available, and
Well,
you
and
can
then
do
you're
pretty
just
cool things
looking
for
at
cheap.
then you're just looking at the price of the metal
Yeah.
on top of price of the wire to burn for it, But
Yep.
yeah, that's it, guys. $1,000. Get yourself something cool.
Yup.
Adventure friends, go home.
Fetch friends, go home.